On my little soapbox for a second.
It's Mark Sherwin's Contractor Marketing Soapbox.
Your guide to getting found, selected, and remembered.
And now, here's Mark.
Hey, Soapboxers. Welcome back to another episode of our Contractor Marketing Soapbox. I've got a very special guest today. I'd like to introduce Brigham from Power Selling Pros. Welcome.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity.
It is definitely a pleasure to have this conversation. I'll be honest, since the day I met you, it was a couple of 5 years ago, I wanted to have this conversation for all to hear, because honestly, you're one of the companies, your services make what I do a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it is one of those lost arts in just having a conversation with a client and that handoff, that here's the baton, client. Now you got to close that deal. And it is still a lost art in my opinion. And I'm hoping we can shed some light on that today. I do have a list of questions here, et cetera, but and I hate starting it off with like a hard, here's a fastball question, but do you guys talk about the marketing handoff at all in helping clients understand that is like gold?
Yeah. So I appreciate you. Look, your objective, your job in marketing is not easy, because your objective obviously is to make the phone ring. The issue with that is when a customer or a contractor looks at that lead and says, well, the lead's no good. And of course, what do they mean by that, right? Maybe the customer just wants a ballpark price, or maybe they just want to know what the contractor charges to come out, or maybe they just want to talk to a technician. And many contractors don't know how to handle those types of leads. Correct. So perhaps that's what you're getting at, or perhaps that's touching on something a little different.
No, that's all the above, honestly. These clients work tremendously hard and their marketing companies equally work hard, not just Leads Nearby, but any marketing company, to generate that opportunity. And so often I hear on the phone calls, right, they get those exact questions and they turn around and, oh, I'm sorry, we don't give pricing over the phone. Okay, click. And that marketing company or the client itself spent money possibly to get that lead. That's a hard pill to swallow, and an even more difficult one to train. There's a point of you're a marketing company, stay in your lane, and then there's the other part that's like, but you're not doing everything that I need you to do. Because they're very welcome to give me, they'll call me up and ask for more leads. But yeah, I struggle with the messaging around helping them understand that they need to do more with the leads they're getting.
Perhaps what we say to the listeners is this. You can keep throwing money at it, but trust me when I say you're burning it. You're burning it. You're throwing it to the wind, or even worse, you're throwing it into a bonfire. Mm-hmm. And you're just feeding that fire, and it's going to waste. Unless your team is ready and prepared and trained and incentivized to book that call and wow that customer. When a customer gets on the phone and you just assume that they're a price shopper, that's a mistake.
Yep.
It's a mistake. Now, this is why even smaller contractors, I don't want them touching the phones no matter how small they are, because they have a tendency to cherry pick everything that comes in. Mm-hmm. In other words, they're talking to somebody, and based on how they feel in that moment, whether they want to do the job or not, that's how they handle the call. And, and trust me, the homeowner feels it.
They know.
They feel it and they move on. They're not idiots. They have something going on inside their home, and their objective is to solve that something that's going on inside their home as quickly as possible and as inexpensively as possible. And so when they get on the phone, they say, hey, I'm looking for a ballpark price. They're essentially saying, I'm not sure I want to spend 90 minutes with you and 90 minutes with another person and 90 minutes with another person. I've got to take off work. I don't want to do all those things. So just give it to me straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's how we give it to them straight. Mr. Jones, tell me more about your situation. What's going on? Well, I've got this air conditioner. It's blowing hot air. Huh. Now we're talking to the same sort of customer that we talk to all day long, even the ones that we like.
Yep.
Okay. They just didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to say. So that's what they say. They want to get to the heart of it, right? Okay. So you've got an air conditioner. It's not working right now. How long has it been like this? 3 days. So you've been dealing with no AC for 3 days. Yes, my wife has had it. Okay, I slept on the couch last night trying to figure this thing out. I've been YouTubing the whole thing. I've got it in pieces right now. Okay, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
Wow, that's not a good situation. You need more than a price. You need somebody to come out and freaking put this thing back together. Yes, yes, and you want to do it at a price that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. Is that what I'm hearing? Yes, that's what I'm hearing. Okay, well look, you've called the right place. We can help. Let's get you off the couch. When do you want me out there? And now he doesn't care. He doesn't care how much it costs. He doesn't care how long he's going to have to wait to a certain extent. He wants me out there. Right?
Yep.
So our goal here is to create likability over the phone. Our goal here is to create trust. And we'll find that in most cases, I want to talk to a technician. Great. We have a lot of those. Can you tell me more about your situation? What's going on? Let me make sure I'm setting up the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got this air conditioner. It's blowing hot air. Oh, crazy. I've heard this before. Tell me more. Tell me more about your situation. What's going on? Well, I've been on the couch for the last 3 days. That's not good. No, it's not good. Well, look, you've called the right place. We can help. When would you like us out? Now we're rolling, right? Hey, what do you charge to come out? Side note, what we charge to come out depends on the customer situation. It's funny how as people who answer phones, we think, oh, I've got to answer that question. Yeah, you do, but you've got to have all the information before you can properly answer it.
Exactly right.
So if they want to replace the system, well, then we'll go out for free. But if they want to fix it, there might be a dispatch or a diagnostic fee involved here. But either way, I need more information.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you charge to come out? It really depends on your situation. Can you tell me more about it? What's going on? Well, I've got this air conditioner. It's blowing hot air. I'm like, gosh, that's terrible. How long have you been doing with that? 3 days. I've been sitting on the couch we're sleeping on the couch for 3 days now. My wife, she's going to kill me. All too familiar story.
Yep.
We just got to get them there emotionally. It's not logical. It's emotional. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. For all of you who are spending money on marketing right now, here's the way you must look at it. If they can fog a mirror, it's a lead. It's a lead, it's a lead, it's a lead. Leave your marketer alone.
Yes.
Okay? They've made the phone ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lead. Okay, let's say that it's an advertiser that calls in. Okay, they want to sell you billboard space. This never happens, except all the time, right?
Right.
Hey, I want to sell you some billboards. Great. You can say, forget it, buddy, and hang. It's so funny how CSRs, they take so much pride in their power. I'm going to hang up on you. Bah. Why? Let's have some fun. Here's what we do. Hey, Mr. Billboard person, I'm really glad that you called in. Do you happen to have a home here in this marketplace? Oh, that's great. It's a funny thing because we do heating and cooling. Yeah, I know. That's why I called you guys. I really think I can help you with your business. Wonderful. Here's the thing. My boss, she likes to work with those who work with her. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get you on a maintenance agreement. So it's one of our club memberships. We come out in the spring, we come out in the fall. We make sure it's running at peak efficiency. The best part about it is it prevents, premature breakdowns from happening. So you've got a system, it'll last maybe 10, maybe 15 years, especially if it's installed correctly and it's properly maintained. But if it's not properly maintained, it could fail a whole lot sooner. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to make you a customer. That way I can go back to my boss and let her know that we happen to have an existing customer that sells billboards. Now, I promise you, she's going to be a whole lot more receptive to the fact that you're a customer as opposed to another person that wants to sell advertising. Now, let me help you. Let me get you on this club membership. It's $25 a month. I'll get you going on it right now. All I need is a credit card. And I'll go back there and let her know that you're on the line. If nothing else, we're going to have less advertisers calling us. You're welcome. Okay. Everyone is a lead. Everyone's a customer. Let's say your mother calls in. Wonderful. We love moms, just as long as they're ready to buy a club membership. If you have this mindset through training and incentive and through incentives, you're going to book every call, wow every customer. It doesn't matter who calls in. If they can fog a mirror to lead. And that's not from me. Okay. That's a quote from Kevin Comerford. Okay, Service Champions, Concord, California, sold out to the wrench group and blew up. Okay, $100 million in HVAC sales. That's him, not me.
It's every time I listen to you talk, there's so much enlightenment that happens because it's so easy for us to just say, "Oh, it's a sales call," just brush that off. But asking questions. At any point in the conversation, it's if they can fog a mirror, let's ask a question.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get, hey, before I answer that question about price, let me ask you some questions, right? So there's that. This is an engagement opportunity. There was a company not long ago, and one of my companies that I deal with, and he was talking to his GM, who since has left, and this was just over the last few weeks. But the GM got upset that a client was calling in and needed him to go out that day. And he's like, "This is exactly why we're in business. We're here. Why are you upset that you have to go to this home today? Yes, it's a Friday afternoon. Maybe you had plans with the guys, but no, this is why we're in business." And he's no longer gainfully employed because it's a top-down thing for me sometimes, right? If the owner doesn't care, why would the CSRs care? Why would the technicians care? And that was an enlightening experience for me. You talk a lot about, and what you mentioned in wow moments. You've mentioned it a couple times already.
Mm-hmm.
That is not new either, right? That's been around since I've been doing this for 15 years. Is wow moments and creating that moment that the client remembers and thinks of you first when they need you in the future. You have a whole book on it. Talk to me a little bit about how you train on wow moments. What does that mean when I call and I just want a price? How do you create a wow moment?
So we use this tool called the Pattern for Excellence.
Love it.
There are 8 principles and, of course, 1 outcome. The outcome is a wow experience. This is the foundation tool that we use just to provide accountability and coaching to every one of our trainees in our program. And what we do is we train CSRs one-on-one twice a month using their own phone calls. And each coaching session is about a half hour long, and we have them listen to their own calls. And we provide coaching and feedback, and we practice together over the phone. There's 4 levels of certification. In many cases, it takes about 1.5 years to complete. It's a bit of a university. But by the time we're done, they're booking at least 85% of their phone calls. That's guaranteed. We give you your money back. And of course, we've never had to give anybody's money back. And we have over 1,400 in our program as we speak, 1,400 trainees. So this foundation tool, 8 principles: positive attitude, preparation through confidence and practice, showing the customer that you're listening, showing them that you care, reassuring them that they've called the right place, asking the right questions, creating value, and being grateful. You master these principles, you're going to book every call, you're going to wow every customer that comes in. And so there's definitely a methodology to what we do and how we do it. You'll notice that in the beginning, when I said, "Tell me more, that's not good, I can help," those were specific applications to the principles in the bottom here, right?
Yep.
So we show them that we're listening, tell me more. We show them that we care. We say that's not good. And then we reassure them that they've called the right place. We can definitely help you with that. You see, every customer has 3 human emotional needs. They need to feel understood, they need to feel cared about, and they need to feel reassured. If you can take care of those 3 human emotional needs in the beginning of the phone call, you'll be able to create that wow experience. In most cases, when a customer initially signs on, they say, "Hey, how quickly do you think we'll see a jump in call conversion?" And I say immediately. And the reason why, and this is especially if they're under 60% calls versus set appointments, Okay, if they're already at 70, 75, it may take a little bit longer to get us to 80 and 85. But many of the companies that we work with are in the 90s. We already have our own call center, over 60 agents, and we book at an average of 93% calls versus set appointments. We work with Tommy Mello's team at A1 Garage Door. He has over 60 agents, and they're booking 91%. And so we have the ability to get you up over 90. The leadership's got to be completely engaged and 100% in, and that way the employees will jump on board as well. But we definitely have a methodology that works, and the way that it works more than anything is that we create a relationship in the beginning of safety, of comfort, and of a little bit of fun. You got to have a little bit of fun as well. And you do that by listening, caring, reassuring, and being a call. The ultimate outcome of the call is determined by the way you answer the way you handle the first 30 to 50 seconds. In most cases. So the wow experience, it comes through listening, caring, reassuring, taking care of their emotional needs right out of the gate.
You can't underestimate. That is an amazingly powerful tool for all the people watching this now or will be. That is an amazingly powerful tool. That first 30 seconds, that's the introduction to the company. Even if they're an existing client, they still they're coming back and they want to experience that. It is truly amazing. I have clients in the 20% book rate and just keep calling me up asking me for more leads. And it's mind numbing, right? I 100 phone calls and you book 20 of them. I don't care that some of them were sales calls. And to your point, right? They're just not creating the wow experience. I listened to one call the other day and the lady answered it. What? I had a real tough time with that. She thought it was somebody else calling her, but nevertheless, you never answer the phone that way.
Never.
And you can't reach everybody, you can't help everybody. But if you're watching this, understand that handoff to the CSR is a marketing company's dream. But I did have a question for you, and this is something that I've wondered for a while. Does your training parlay over to the technician's experience, to the accounts receivable call that they might get in the future? Do you find yourself training others in the company as well about their creating that wow experience?
Yeah, so ever since we started at Power Selling Pros, and it's funny because I looked at LinkedIn the other day and it just congratulated me for being around, the company for being around for 16 years. And I was like, wow.
You're older than me. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Ever since the beginning, every one of our clients have said, you guys can teach soft skills like nobody else in the industry. Will you please take the training that you're doing with our CSRs, our dispatchers, and lead coordinators? Will you take that to our technicians and comfort advisors? And of course, we say we'd love to. The downside is we don't have the ability to monitor their performance like we do with the CSRs.
Sure.
See, we have a team of call monitors that monitor calls and save certain calls for coaching purposes. And so, yeah, we could teach these principles to a technician, and the technician will be like, yeah, I do all that. Cool. Great. Now what? Right. You know what I mean? So it's just not how we roll. We provide the accountability over time. Because when they say, hey, we do that, cool, let's listen to this call. And they go, wow, you caught me on an off day. Well, that's weird because here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one. So we needed the technology. About 3 years ago, I felt like I needed to spend more time with the technicians. And so I started doing ride-alongs. I don't know if you glance at my social media at all, but I'm constantly taking pictures with techs and going on ride-alongs and so on and so forth. It's so much fun. Business to business sales, you guys, is freaking hard. It's hard. To the point where when I'm able to go inside a customer's home, and work with a homeowner, sales are easy. Business consumer sales are a piece of cake compared to business to business. And I'm not taking anything away from any of our listeners. I'm just simply saying, you guys, you're not an easy sell, okay? You're not.
No, we're not.
And we really got to know what we're doing, and we need to have results-oriented business. So we're not going to last very long. We have to get you results. We're done. We're toast. With the homeowner, they seem to be a little bit more lenient, so that when we come in with our skill set and connect with them on an emotional level, I mean, it's easy. And so I love going inside a customer's home and showing the technician how to connect with them. And I've been doing this again for the last 3 years. Well, then funny thing, last year, this amazing technology came out where now that the technicians can be recorded. You've got Sales Pro, you've got Rilla, you've got Spark coming out with what Tommy Mello's doing. You've got some incredible technology at our disposal where we can listen to technicians and comfort advisors. And so our team has been rolling out soft skills training for technicians and for comfort advisors, and it's been incredible. And funny thing, we use the same process here. Now, here's the reason why this is so important. A technician doesn't want to sell.
Nope.
You use the word sales, you're toast, you're done. It doesn't. It's funny how some people try to convince a technician. They try to sell the technician on wanting to sell.
Right.
You're done, you're toast, because they don't want to sell. Well, funny thing, for the last 16 years, we've also been working with CSRs who don't want to sell.
Right.
And what are they doing? They're selling service agreements, and they're turning plumbing calls into heating calls. And when calls aren't coming in, they're proactively calling out, and they're actively turning service calls into replacement calls, and so on and so forth. And they can do everything inside the office that we're hoping the technician does outside of the office, inside the customer's home. And we're not talking about sales. We're simply saying, this is what great customer service looks like. A technician wants to do a good job. So
Correct.
Just focus on that. So what does a good job look like? It's not a good job for a technician to go out into the customer's home, find, identify the specific thing that's keeping the system from running, fix that thing, give the guy a bill, and move on to the next one.
Right.
Some technicians would just love to do this inside of 10 customers a day, 10 customers' homes, and they call that a good day. No, it's not, because you'll be there the following week fixing another part. Why? Because the system's old, it's outside of warranty, and all the other parts in that system are working hard and overtime while that other part wasn't working or working the way that it should. So let me just tell you what I'm getting at here. I had a refrigerator in my garage that the front door would just kind of open up. It wouldn't shut properly. I don't know why it wouldn't shut properly. Okay, so I called the appliance guy. He comes out, he takes a look at it, he spends about 20 minutes. I spend $99 on the dispatch fee. Luckily, it's applied to the work. I'm cool with that, right? And I pay for the work. I'm sure the work was, $200, $300. He fixed the door and it shut. Well, a month later, the refrigerator part of the fridge stopped cooling. So I called them back, and then what do I say? I said, my refrigerator's not working again. And they go, okay, which part of the fridge is not working right now? Is it the door that we fixed? No, it's not the door. It's just not cooling the way that it should. Okay, so that's going to require a different dispatch fee. Mark, that was the beginning of my conversation with them. Right out of the gate, there's going to be a cost. So I go, great. I don't care. I want my fridge to work.
Right.
Can you come out today? Right? And so they come back out. Sure enough, what's the problem with all that? Your goal is to help me feel good. Your goal is to help me feel safe, feel comfortable. Your goal is for me to have a little bit of fun, even though I've got a fridge that's not working. Okay, that's your goal. This is why we drive up in a line to Chick-fil-A and wait for a half hour to get our food.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, we pay more at Chick-fil-A than we do McDonald's, and we wait longer.
Yep.
Why is that? Well, it's because of the experience they create. Okay, we need to create that experience. We have to. And so what do? Technician comes out and he does all the things, right? He throws down the mat, he puts his booties on, the customer might say the condenser's out there, and you simply say, hey, you know what? I appreciate that. 2/3 of your air conditioner or your air conditioning system is inside the home. I would like to start there with your permission. Oh yeah, sure. Of course. Come on in. You connect with them for a little bit right inside the front door. You spend about 10, maybe 15 minutes talking about what's going on. And you say, hey, before I go and look at your air conditioning system, I want to make sure that we're on the same page. Do you want me to just go in and fix the specific problem that needs to be fixed? Or do you want me to take a look at the entire system, make sure that everything's running to manufacturer specifications? And if I find something that is kind of haywire, even though it's not dead or gone,
right,
would you like me to bring that to your attention? Yes, I'd like you to bring it to my attention. Okay, cool. So now I've set the expectation, even before I've gone in to look at the system, that if there's something else that's working overtime or working hard or about to go out, I can let them know. You see, that's great customer service.
Yep.
It's not selling, it's great customer service, and it may keep me or the homeowner from having to call back again.
That's exactly right. And preventing a future concern, right? Those were where negative reviews start, right? That comes back into my world. I had to call this guy out 3 times, right? Why I got to fix it? Why aren't they fixing it the first time? And that is just the negative review fuel for the future, because now you might not be the first person they call the next time.
That's right.
I don't want to, you and I could probably talk for hours on this stuff. I did have a very important question for you, because I know it's impacting your industries as much as it's impacting mine, and that is AI. And I wanted to quickly switch gears to this, or maybe it takes a little while, but in marketing, right? Chat GPT, like you write content and get all this stuff done. I have not seen it be very successful for clients in their overall marketing, aside from the analysis that AI offers. It does allow for some digging into the data, and more so than a pivot table in an Excel spreadsheet does. So we're using a lot of AI in that aspect of helping our clients understand their marketing. How is it impacting you all? I know there's tons of services out there that'll answer your calls and AI. I really I don't want to say caution against it, but is AI that advanced yet for what you guys do?
I love this question. Do you remember when COVID hit and the manufacturers pulled back on system building because they were preparing for the worst?
Yep.
And it turned out to be the worst decision they ever made.
Sure did.
Okay, they lost a lot of contract relationships with that.
Sure did.
And most contractors will say to this day that probably could have done twice as well if they doubled down on system building as opposed to pulling back.
Right.
The same thing's true with this technology that's come out. So you've mentioned it on the marketing side. Let me tell you how AI is coming into the call handling side as well. Because there are I think I was at the Service World Expo, and there were probably 5 different AI call takers. And crazy thing, they all sound the same. I'd go into their little booths, listen to their perfect call answered by AI.
Sure.
And remember, we have our own call center and 60 agents. If all 60 of those agents are on the phone, we use AI as well.
Okay.
That picks it up. But then we call them back. We make sure that we can't bring them up in the schedule at all, because the AI will just put it in the first opening. It's not great during the summertime because the customer's going to call somebody else. So we need to call them back as quickly as possible and see if we can't move them up in the schedule by moving a few things around. Also, depending on the customer situation or the urgency of what's going on inside their home. So there's so many emotional things going on that the AI just can't equate for. What's interesting is that there's because we answer phones for other contractors at nights and on weekends. We provide overflow for many contractors that we work with. There's about 6 companies when AI first came out that left us or left that company.
Sure.
And they all have come back. Many have said, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. We shouldn't have done it. So yeah, it's not there yet. Even if it is there, what we're doing is we're accepting the sameness that AI provides. Okay, sounding the same. What we're looking at here is a McDonald's model. Now, the model for McDonald's works for them. They make money, but they're moving more product in order to get the profit and the return on that investment.
Sure.
Whereas with Chick-fil-A and the Chick-fil-A model, where you focus in on the experience, in fact, they've doubled down on the amount of humans ushering people through the line, because that's the main reason why people leave. They see how long the line is and they don't wait. But if we have more people ushering the line forward, they're able to get more people through that line and enjoy the experience and the food that comes with it. So you've got to decide what kind of experience you want, right? At McDonald's, they don't even have humans at the front desk anymore. They have these big screens, and you order things on the big screen, and they've tested it out, and they found that you actually order more food when you're not looking at a person ordering. You're actually just pushing a button. So that works for McDonald's. If that's the model you want, go for it. But just remember that you're probably going to need to lower your prices, because the experience isn't what it used to be. That connection over the phone, if your CSR is trained and being held accountable, is part of the buyer experience.
Agreed.
And so you just got to decide what kind of experience you want to create. You'll find that if you follow the Chick-fil-A model, you'll be able to raise your prices with that experience over the phone, as opposed to lowering it, because what you're doing is different from everybody else that's in your marketplace.
I can't agree more. I always thought it was genius that Chick-fil-A had people sending outside and slowly taking your order, right? Even though you're in this long line, people are taking my order and I haven't gotten around to the building yet. And so it's ready for me by the time I roll up. I just thought that was genius. I'm not going to bounce out of line. They got my order. I already paid.
That's right.
But I don't like, AI has a place. And I don't disagree with it. Maybe after hours, sure, you're going to get a lot fewer phone calls, but there's so much empathy that is lost or missed. One of my very first client had a girl that answered the phone, and, oh my gosh, dear, I'm so sorry that's happening to you. Let me see what we can do to get, like, that whole interaction alone, and just her voice and the way she approached it. She booked almost every call she was on. And I knew at that point in time that she was my best friend, because she made what we did look good.
That's right.
That was very important at the time. As we close, I have a bit of a question that's going to hopefully solicit a little bit of knowledge that we can parlay, that maybe somebody watching this or now or in the future can take with them and start implementing now for themselves, and that is about listening to calls. How does a homeowner adjust somebody's attitude without kind of upsetting them? A lot of people I don't want to tell my technicians to do more work because they're going to get upset and leave me. But CSRs have got to be sort of the same way. There's some people out there that might be a little apprehensive about receiving coaching. Is there a magic word that we can, or a magic wand that we can tap somebody on the shoulder and they'll be an excellent CSR? Or is there any coaching you can provide to that person that's trying to help their CSRs now do a little bit better?
So I was in a 4-hour webinar with a team of CSRs yesterday. There were 6, maybe 7 people in the room. 7 people in the room. I have their names right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There were 6 people in the room.
Wow.
And it was cool because they had the same sort of question, like, Brigham, what you're teaching is a lot of emotional effort. And if I do this for 8 hours a day, I'm going to be exhausted. I mean, sure, I'm sitting here, but my brain's going to hurt from having to approach each conversation where I am actively listening and actively caring and reassuring, and it's a lot, right? From an emotional standpoint, there's strain, there's emotional strain that goes on, and it requires you to be present as opposed to, going on autopilot. And so I simply said, you guys, we don't live to work. Most of us don't. We work to live. But if we approach work the right way, it provides the right training ground where we can hone our social skills, our listening skills, our caring skills, our reassuring skills, our positive attitude, our confidence, gratitude. Look, let's just focus in on gratitude for a moment. Okay, when you say thank you, what you're saying is, to the other person, you're saying you made a difference. You made a difference. And when people feel like they've made a difference, they feel important. It happens to be an emotional need that everybody has. Everybody needs to feel important. They need to feel worthy. They need to feel accepted. It's an emotional need that we're driven towards. And when we say thank you to them, we're taking care of that emotional need, and they become loyal to us, loyal to our cause. Yes. Whatever that cause may be. And there's something even deeper about gratitude. I'm going to talk about Jesus for a minute, Mark. Okay, so look.
Please do.
10 lepers. Okay, 10 lepers. Jesus approaches them and cleanses them and tells them all to go to the judge and to be deemed cleansed, right, of their leprosy. And they all run. But there's one that turns back. There's one that turns back, and he comes back to Jesus and he says, thank you. Mm-hmm. What's interesting is that all 10 of those lepers were cleansed. We know that based on our recorded history. But the one that came back and expressed gratitude became whole, according to Jesus Christ. He became whole. You see, when you say thank you, that does something for you. Yes. Not just the person you're thanking. You become whole. You need it. Just as much as the person needs to feel gratitude from you, you need to express it. And you see, it was that one leper that expressed gratitude that received that gift of wholeness. And so just that one principle, if we practice it over and over again for 8 to 10 hours a day at work, that changes everything for us. That makes us a better person. We feel more fulfilled. We feel like life is more meaningful. And I could take time on every one of these 8 principles in the pattern for excellence and show you how that by using this, not just with the people you're talking to over the phone, but your coworkers, your boss, your kids, your neighbors, your spouse, you'll find that it's going to change your life and everybody else's life around you.
That's very interesting. I could probably talk to you for hours and enjoy every minute of it. However, I do have to wrap up.
Yeah.
I appreciate this conversation probably more than you will ever realize. The fact you brought up Jesus Christ, I absolutely adore. Thank you for bringing to light a lot of and helping a lot of people that are watching this now or in the future. I don't believe we have any questions. I don't see any in the chat over here, but I know that we've covered quite a bit. I will continue to send people over to you as I find their needs are important. What you can do for them makes what I do for them that much more effective, and that's always been my principles behind it. So again, thank you for the wow experience on this call, and I hope to be seeing you soon in Vegas. We'll be out there.
You as well, Mark. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's Mark Sherwin's Contractor Marketing Soapbox. Call Mark to learn more. 919-758-8420.